I remember looking at this episode of a reality show, and I do not recall her name, but she was dating or married to one of the members of the former boy band group called B2K, and she was with Little Fizz. I believe they have a son together, but she was talking about how she thought she might be bisexual. And she said that she was with this woman. She dated a woman for a while, and they finally became sexually intimate. And she said that when they were getting undressed and the girl was on top of her, she said that I did not like what I was seeing. And she went into details, but she said basically that she didn't like the way the female body is. And she knew that she could not be with a woman at all. And then she said, I realized at that moment in that relationship that she wasn't bisexual. She said she realized that she was heterosexual. And so she just was saying that it took sleeping with a woman for her to realize that she did not like the female physique and that she cannot see herself being with a woman because the female body does not excite her. And it was interesting just listening to her perspective, because the women who identify as heterosexual usually will have no issue with sharing or expressing their displeasure in the female shape. Now, there's a difference between a woman wanting to have a nice shape and a woman who is attracted physically and sexually to a woman who has a nice shape. And in this video message, I'm going to refer to the latter, a woman who is physically and sexually attracted to a woman's shape, her body, her female physique. That is what I'm going to discuss today. And I've titled my video message, Lesbians Like the Female Body, but Heterosexual Women Don't. I am Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author, and here on my YouTube channel, I provide my lesbian perspective. And if that interests you, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. I remember just being around heterosexual women growing up, and I was pretty much, always an observant person. I would listen and just pay attention to my environment. And I would always hear heterosexual women talk about women. And a lot of the conversation was very negative about women. And I just didn't understand that because I didn't have that type of thought process. I always thought that women were beautiful. It wasn't me being necessarily physically attracted to women, all women, because I'm not. I identify as a lesbian and I'm not attracted to all women. But what I am referring to is I was never someone who just focused on the bad aspects of women, or I never would speak in a derogatory manner about a woman's body. And there is a phrase where they call it, quote, body shaming, end quote. So I never engaged in conversations where I was disrespecting a woman's body, the way she looked physically, her features. I did not speak down on a woman, but I would hear other women do this about other women. And these were heterosexual women. And I just did not agree with a lot of the things they would say or how they viewed women. And part of that was a way for me to realize I was different. I was different from most of the women who were around me, because heterosexual women, for example, I was probably at school, or maybe there was something going on in the neighborhood. Like you may have you ever been to a block party? I've been invited to block parties. They used to do this back in the day. They don't really do them now. But you just it's like a certain block in a neighborhood is blocked off. And, it is monitored by the police to make sure that nothing gets out of hand. But it's just a bunch of people in the neighborhood from that part of town who get together and they just have a party. They bring food, or they cater food in. There's a DJ, there's dancing, there's music, there's people out and about. Just, some people set up shops and sell products, and you're just out and about. And I'm bringing this up because this is a time where it's a bunch of women who are outside, and it's the summertime usually. It's a warm season time of the year when you usually have a block party. The music's going, everybody's feeling good. There's a lot of women out there. There's a lot of men out there. And I would just hear women just talk about other women's bodies. And I thought the girl was cute. I thought she looked cute. I thought her outfit looked nice. I thought she had a really nice shape. But heterosexual women would say stuff like, ew, she don't need to wear that skirt because her thighs are not tight enough. Like she needs to work out. She needs to do something because she just looks a little too chubby. They would say different things, but it was always something negative. And I just didn't understand, because what they saw as ugly, I thought was attractive. And I had to really process what's really going on here. And I remember a lady telling me, she was a heterosexual woman, and she had a husband. Well, he's an ex-husband now, but he used to body shame her or talk about her and how she looked underneath her clothes. And they had children together. Kids are grown. She had a few sons with him. But she told me that one day, one of her son's wives came to her and she was crying and she was upset. And she was saying that, please don't be upset with me, but your son, he keeps talking about my stretch marks, and he says I'm ugly, and and it just hurts me because I can't do anything about my stretch marks. Now this woman had a baby with him and everything, and he was mad that she had stretch marks. So she didn't get mad at her daughter-in-law. She actually became very upset with her son, and she corrected him, and she actually told him, she said, your father used to do me the same way. And she said, don't ever do that again to your wife. Your wife has your child, and how dare you talk about her underneath her clothes and mistreat her. So she corrected him, and I respect that. But what I was learning from a lot of heterosexual women is that they began to look down on their bodies or feel insecure about their bodies because of the way the men in their life look down on them. The men disrespected them. The men always body shamed them, always had complaints about their bodies, or they would compare their wife or girlfriend to other women. But for one, you don't need to compare your wife or girlfriend to another woman. That's wrong all by itself. But they even go even further and tell their wife or girlfriend, you need to look like her. I don't know if y'all remember years ago, the R&B female artist group called TLC. They had a hit song called Pretty. And in the video, you see the images, but they're talking about how they don't feel pretty because the men in their lives don't make them feel pretty. And so that song is very powerful, and it kind of goes into what I'm talking about. A lot of women are deeply affected by how the men in their lives treat them, and it causes them to look at themselves the way men see them. And this happens quite a bit with heterosexual women. And if they look in the mirror and they don't feel pretty, well, they're going to not feel good about themselves. And when they have a man who is praising another woman and then actually completely violates the relationship or marriage and goes out and cheats on his wife, and she finds out who the girl he's sleeping with is, and this woman looks nothing like her, now she's comparing herself to this woman that her husband, her man, is cheating on her with. And so I started to see why women were so insulting towards other women, specifically heterosexual women. A lot of them learned the ways of how they were treated by their man. And it created this competition and this jealousy, this self-hatred that a lot of heterosexual women harbor. And they actually begin to vocalize it by always talking negatively about other women. And I saw a lot of that, and I would pay attention to things. That's just the way I was, but it also helped me to realize and understand that I am very detached from men. Like, I do not care what men think about how I look in my body. Now, I will say that I was not exposed to men just degrading me in the sense of a heterosexual woman being degraded simply because I did not date men. I wasn't involved with men. But I do remember being in school and being called ugly because of my skin complexion. And this came a lot from black men who were dark skinned. I was, a brown skinned, dark skinned woman or young girl. And I would get comments such as, oh, you're too black or something like that. So that actually affected me in a sense where, not that I was against being a black woman, but I just felt, a bit of disappointment in the black boys, the black guys. And I just thought it was a bit disheartening that those who acted that way were treating me, and not just me, other girls that way who were like me. So I remember how that affected me. So I imagine even more so a woman who is with a man, like she's married to him, she's dating him, she's engaged to him, she has his children, and he literally just body shames her, compares her body to other women, cheats on her, and says, oh, well, she's prettier than you, or she's better in bed than you. You can't imagine the level of just dysfunction that goes on in that type of household. And also just the emotional upheaval, the mental distress that many women go through. So I'm saying all that to also just let you know that women, we are all different. We all look differently, and we're designed in our own unique way. And I just believe that there's different reasons why women treat each other the way they do. And it has a lot to do with our sexual orientation. And with me realizing I was different from heterosexual women, I had different experiences because I'm a lesbian. I really appreciated the female body. I adored her beauty. And I actually was criticized for it by women, heterosexual women. Like, I could not really express myself and my attractions, my same-sex attractions for women around heterosexual women, because it was frowned upon. I couldn't have the type of conversations I really needed to have with heterosexual women because I knew that it was not acceptable. So a lot of times I wasn't able to really enjoy just admiring women and being able to talk about my love for women publicly because I was discriminated against. And now I just, every chance I can get, I'll compliment a woman. I'll let a woman know how beautiful she is. I'll show my appreciation for her. And I think that's one of the wonderful qualities of being a lesbian, is that as lesbians, we have a natural affinity for women. And we need that because there's so many women who are not loved, who are not adored, who are not admired, who are not respected, who are not appreciated, who don't even get a compliment. I mean, just being kind to someone will make their day. But it's like so many people choosing to be cold-hearted. I wanted to just talk about that because I just want, all of the women to know that don't allow a man. First of all, a man is not a woman, and his body, his physique is completely different from a woman's. And he is in no position to talk about a woman's body. All of the changes that a woman's body goes through, especially if she is carrying your child and having your children, you should honor and just have so much dignity and joy in being with your woman. A lot of men don't have a woman. And then if you have a woman, you want to disrespect her and mistreat her and make her feel unattractive. That is so asinine and cruel. But to all of the women in the world, I encourage you to compliment yourself. And if you are not comfortable with yourself, if you're not satisfied with something about the way you look or your body, the way you look or the way your body is at the moment, I don't want you to think that you need to go through drastic measures such as cosmetic surgery or becoming obsessed with looking at women online, because there's social media that can really warp your mind, and a lot of these people are on here with filters, and they've had work done on their bodies because they thought that that's what they needed to do to be attractive. And we really should appreciate our natural bodies, because we have a natural body, which means that you don't need to add anything to it to change your body. But you can do simple things such as eat healthy. You can stay active. And staying active doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to a gym and work out. If you do things around the house that keep you busy, such as cooking, decorating, cleaning, whatever it is that you do, it's staying active. Find an exercise that you do enjoy. And you only technically have to do it at least minimum three times a week for 30 minutes. It will make a difference in your physique. So I encourage being healthy, but I don't encourage changing the way you look to please another person, because your look belongs to you. Your look is unique. There is going to be someone who likes your look, but you must be the first person to like the way you look. And as far as being a lesbian, lesbians like the female body, but heterosexual women don't. Well, that's understandable because we have different sexual orientations. The only issue I have with heterosexual women is when they actually judge or ridicule lesbians who like other women's bodies, or they just, get upset or angry when you think a woman is physically attractive. It's like, what does a lesbian finding another woman physically attractive have to do with you? Maybe that causes you to think about how someone didn't find you attractive. I don't know. Maybe you want to be complimented. Something about the way this lesbian is comfortable in her own skin and how she's able to admire women and enjoy women on a level that you don't triggers you. And that is what I saw a lot when I was around heterosexual women growing up. It just triggered them when I was just being myself. And I wasn't doing anything gross or disrespectful. If I complimented a woman, if I admired a woman, a lot of time it triggered heterosexual women. So I just, I think that we have to really self-reflect and find out, why are we triggered, and work on ourselves. I'm an advocate of mental health. Hire a therapist, hire a life coach to work through whatever it is that causes you to self-destruct, and then pour out all of that poison on other women. Women need to appreciate the fact that we are here and that we are all beautiful in our own way. And I wish there were more heterosexual women who were more accepting of lesbians. And I believe that a lot of heterosexual women have an issue with lesbians because of their male counterparts. You know, their fathers, their brothers, uncles, husbands, boyfriends. They probably were very homophobic. And a lot of women pick up the same behavior of their heterosexual partners, male partners. But I just remember just seeing a lot of heterosexual women talk down on women, and I never liked it. I would get away from that as soon as I could. And it was difficult for me to be myself as a lesbian because these heterosexual women couldn't understand why I was attracted to women. And it was almost like they hated to hear me admire another woman. It was almost like they had this jealousy, this deep-seated anger about me liking women. But I'm glad that I was able to get out of those type of situations and environments, because it could have caused me to become very insecure about myself as a woman. And I probably would not have been able to really feel free to love a woman. But that's all I have for now. I hope that this message resonates with you. I am Giselle Wallace, certified lesbian life coach and author. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share the video. Thank you for listening.